semaine, la rédaction d'Afro-Web TV vous propose un condensé de l'actualité des 7 derniers jours. Suivez sur Afro-Web TV l'actualité politique, économique et sociale, bref, dans toute son entièreté, sur www.afrowebtv.com. Veuillez vous abonner à notre chaîne Afro-Web TV sur YouTube et Facebook pour ne rien rater sur l'essentiel de l'actualité de la semaine. Afro-Web TV, au service de la communauté africaine à la diaspora. Afro-Web TV, c'est l'Afrique qui gagne.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are hearing us from. This is Afro-Web TV, and welcome to the show. Let's Horeb, Anthony. Today on the show, we will be the prospect and the future of the Nigerian system. How far have we gone as a nation? What are the challenges, and what do we have to do to a better education? Those are the looking at this morning on the show, and they have a special guest that is going to be with on this show. He's popularly known as Omodin, University of Lagos, but then his name's Afiz Abdurazak. Afiz.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's exciting to be here this morning, and to a wonderful host, Horeb Anthony, a good friend and a wonderful scholar. I'm excited to be on the show with you this morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I have to remind people a little bit about you, who you are. Akonji is three names. He's a passionate teacher, is a creative instructor, is an accomplished early child educator. He's a trained educator who advocates qualitative and innovation and outside school setting. I'm teaching children development, educating parents, guardians, early child care providers, policymakers, and professionals on issues that affect the optimal children. He is actually especially in parental education, the family structure, on the child development, economic, special education needs, mental health, educational policies, and professional training. And we need to remind you that he's also the director of the Next Generation class, a learning hub that seeks to advance and learners of knowledge and required pedagogical skills devised to reposition education through the of digital and experience learning. I mean, if I have to talk everything is about in the course of the we will be telling people more about who you are. But I think the basic thing to remind them right now is that even as you are a PhD student at Michigan, Oakland University, you are still an assistant lecturer at the University of Lagos. Am I right?
Yes, you're very right.
All right. Now, let's start from this. We are talking prospects and the future of the Nigerian educational system. Mr. Abdurazak, tell us the list. Like, you looking at the Nigerian educational system, how far have we gone as a
Once again, thank you so much for this opportunity. I do appreciate the invitation. We need to understand that as Nigerians, we are not where we want to be. However, we are making significant progress in pursuit of excellence. And the records are there. If you look at the United States of America, the most educated immigrants are Nigerians. If you look at the UK, most of the people who have been given visa in the last few months are Nigerians. And this is subject to the fact that they have something to contribute to every country they go to. The educational trajectory of Nigeria is such that makes you a remarkable leader, owing to the fact that we are very lucky to have affordable education. We are very fortunate to have amazing scholars who are still their 10th in forming relationship with experts across the world. So from the categorization of education in Nigeria, we have what we call the high cost school, we have the average cost school, we have the low cost school, and we have the public schools. So of course, socioeconomic status of each family would determine what you can afford in education. However, owing to the fact that many people are not entirely rich, the government is trying to ensure that we have free quality and basic education. There are many challenges in achieving that. However, at least at the university level, a whole lot of people who are in the federal universities would would enjoy what we are going to remark as free education compared to what is obtainable in other parts of the country. So, looking at the prospect, we are a promising nation owing to the interest many Nigerians have in education and how we are doing amazingly across the world in terms of education, innovation, health, banking system. In fact, to talk about security intelligence and security architecture of other countries. So you are always seeing Nigerians in the news. Just of recent, one Nigerian born was just promoted to the post of general in the United States. So this is just to tell you about how amazing we can be as a nation. So in terms of our prospect, our vision is to be able to devise a holistic, basic, quality, and egalitarian society via quality education. We are not where we want to be, but we have a promising prospect.
Have a prospect. But then,
Yes.
if we are of this, we have been facing challenges. And they will take it basically probably going to the higher education because I know the primary and secondary education very, very important. But people tend to think about the university system, what it is like. Uh, this is becoming regular strikes upon strikes. That's the only way lecturers can actually make some of their requirements met from the government. I think like strike upon strike is going to changes we are facing in the Nigerian educational system, especially at the university.
Yeah, it's regrettable that we have to go on strike on many occasions. It's very discouraging and challenging, and it shows you one of the challenges we have. I need to establish a fact. Every country has their challenges. It only has different peculiarities. For some countries, it is exclusive security. For some countries, it is the problem or possibility of going into a recession. For some countries, it is also about trying to help the social and basic needs of their citizens. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So, for us, one of the few problems we have is education. Incessant strike has crippled the prospect the Nigerian educational system has. But the question is, who is at fault? Then you need to use an ecological perspective to devise a solution to this problem. The government, on the other hand, has promises that are yet to be fulfilled. The lecturers are saying that they are underpaid and the system of education is not promising to the kind of global educational dynamics they want to give out to the children. Then, unfortunately, the leaders have not come out to show some level of support and encouragement to the people. How insulting it is that an average lecturer in Nigeria earns a penny when their colleagues in other parts of the world could earn what is going to make them independent. Most times, what Nigerian lecturers earn does not even have the ability to take them home. However, we also need to be accountable and understand that when you talk about education, it is not something you have to politicize. We need to understand that adding politics into a lot of things is not a good thing for our nation. An uninteresting example is that people at the ends of education in Nigeria are mostly people who don't even have any background in education. They are people who does not even have anything to lose. They don't understand the trajectory of education, how education has been, and what education could do to us as a nation. Regrettably, many of them have their children studying outside the country. So they are not the first, they are not at the receiving ends when problem comes. So if we want to have a better Nigerian, we need to understand that our educational system has to be improved. And who are the architects of our educational system? Government, because they are the one that make the policy. Then the lecturers, because the lecturers are going to be the ones to be in the class. However, the lecturers are only asking for a good system, a working system, an encouraging remuneration, and adequate support. Everybody needs some level of support. And then if you don't get the required support, the enthusiasm to do what you want to do is going to make it difficult for you to put all your mind into what you are doing. How do you think that lecturers have not been paid for 8 months, and for every meeting they have, people at the helm of affairs would come out to come and say things that are against the reality to the public, trying to let the lecturers lose the sympathy of the public? However, the lecturers also need to learn to devise new means that aligns with the global standard in talking to the government. We need to be reputable enough to be trusted by the community, and we need to be independent enough to know that we are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And that is why I said it has to be from a holistic approach. But moving forward, I want you to understand one thing. I am a beneficiary of the Nigerian educational system, and I'm very proud to say that the global leader I want to become, where the thought came about, was from the mentorship and the quality of education I received from Nigeria. I was fortunate to be taught by amazing professors, the likes of Professor Igwe Unwambweze, quality mentorship from the likes of Dr. Olumide Ige, Omotuyole, Dr. Manuel Shope Konkomalafe, Bayo Falobi, among other people, Professor Musa, among others, with wonderful friends like Aremu Abbas. When you think about all of these people, then you look at how amazing they can be in your journey. These are people that are lecturers in university. They are the one that makes us understand what education is. They are the one that makes us understand what the future holds. They are the one that make us speakers and could come out to come and talk to people. These are people who have benefited us. So how do you treat such people? So we need to understand that the government has to be sincere. The lecturers and the system within the lecturers operate has to also be accountable, and we need to devise new means in engaging the government. Yes, they have said that the only language the government understands is strike. However, we need to understand the long-term effect on the psychology of the student, because there are three people, there are four people involved: the government, the lecturer, the system, and the student. All of them come together to make the society. So if they are not working collectively, what is going to suffer is the society. And who is the society? You and I, we are going to be the society, because the outcome of our education will determine what we are going to devise as intervention to moving our society forward. Like I said at my opening speech, we are a country that is very far behind in terms of where we want to get to, but our prospect is very promising, and we can actually.
Hmm. In a recent, the vice president said teachers need to be appreciated, that everybody's encouragement. But here we are, after resumption from 8 months old strike, university lecturers were just recently what they call an added salary. Some people claim it is half salary, whereby they say some professors got 121,000 naira. We call it half salary. Does it mean that professor is actually 242 get about? So when we look at that, we feel as you are that after 8 months, yeah, 8 month strike, get in the system, and it was said that the agreement with federal government was that, okay, they were going to 50% the 8 months, I mean, that has been. But here we are with these same people. Do you think they will feel? We know we are looking at the system and looking at the teachers doing what they have to do, but looking at the government part also. How do you feel? You're a lecturer. I know you got an amputated salary too. So how do you feel?
Like like I said, it's extremely insulting, devastating to see that the teachers are paid penny. And I have to mention this. When you look at some of the countries, advanced countries in the world, there is a structure of who are the beneficiaries of their system. If you look at the UK, for example, there are three people who are reputable in the UK: the medical doctors. When you talk to the medical doctors, the people in sports like footballers, basketballers, and their teachers. When you go to Finland, teachers are treated like kings. When you come to the United States, teachers have high reputation. But in Nigeria, the reverse is the case. The reverse is the case because when the government is meant to hold some people accountable, other people are doing what they like. When the kind of payment the lecturer receive is a slap on the teaching profession, on the educational system of Nigeria. Because people want to be obedient, because they want to respect the rule of law, they went back to the classroom. They went back to the classroom even though they have not been paid for a very long time, only for them to receive what is not even sufficient or is not justifiable for what they have worked for. The government has to step up, and society also need to understand that they have to support the university system. Society has more to lose than the lecturers. The government also has more to lose than the lecturers because by virtue of knowledge, the lecturers are at the threshold where they could determine to switch their career path. They have the knowledge, they have the exposure, they have certification, they have the network, they have the net worth. Many of them are only being a lecturer because they want to give back to the society. They have alternatives. So if the government really is intentional about building a new Nigeria, the very first point is education. Because when you talk about security, what is going to help you drive security is going to be security education. Who are going to be the one to teach you? The teachers, the people in the university. When you talk about innovation, where is the hub of innovation? Who are going to be the one that are going to tell you new research terms in education? We are the one. So there is no way you can divorce pedagogical engagement from the trajectory or the success of every society. And we have to make them patriotic. One of the ways to make Nigerians patriotic is to look into our curriculum and our education. Then who are those that are going to teach the curriculum? They are the teachers. So the money they received is a slap. And this is a call on the government that the more you disrespect the teacher, the more you set a path of backwardness for our country. Because the people who are at the center of progress to drive the change the world wants to see in Nigeria, they are the teachers. So once they are not appreciated or they are treated like people who do not deserve any respect and regard, they are also not going to have respect for the system, and there's going to be a huge consequence to that. So it's very unimpressive what the lecturers have paid. Many of them receive their salary, and it's raised concern, quite agonizing. But like I told you, we have a problem with the government. We have a government who is not sincere. We have a government who does not know what to do, and we have people who are power drunk. We have people who are part of who felt that, oh, we are coming for you. We are in the power, and we are all going to subjugate you with your knowledge. No, that is not going to create a better society. So we need to do better. So we are calling on the government. We are calling on the Minister of Education. We are calling on the Minister of Labor. We are calling on the Accountant General, and we are calling on vice chancellors and chancellors and pro-chancellors. We need to save our educational system. We need to save Nigeria. It is not even about the system in Nigeria now. It's about the future of Nigeria. Because the people who are going to invest the most to the future of Nigeria are the teachers, are the university lecturers. And if they are not well treated, what is going to be the outcome of our country in few years to come? It's quite unfortunate.
It is quite unfortunately, just like Merak just said. But uh, there are people that are proposing already another comprehensive and indefinite strike just because of what happened. And I know the NEC, the National Executive Council of ASU, together to like to have a meeting. Now, if you were invited to that meeting as a young person, what would you think if federal government fail to answer that we should go back, be another strike after these students are happy that they are back on campus? What do you think is the way forward? This, I mean, in situation.
So the problem in Nigeria at present, in terms of education, is that strike is no longer the solution. We need to understand this. We need to accept this. We need to acknowledge this. Strike is no longer the solution. Because if strike were to be the solution, no sensitive government would allow the reservoirs of knowledge, the point of knowledge, to sit at home for 8 months. No sensitive government would do that. So it tells you how challenging it is for us as a nation on who we have at the ends of affairs. So if I get to be invited, I am not going to in any way suggest us to go on strike because we need to look at the future of the students. We need to understand where our fathers were in the university and where we were in the university. You see, there is a change, and the change is not in any way good for the truth for the students that are studying at present. Many of them have visions, many of them have anticipation, and many of them felt that okay, in the next 3 years I should be out of educational system or in the university, and this is what I want to do. A student who has been at home for 8 months, what is the enthusiasm the student is coming with to the university? What interest would the student have to come to class anymore? How does the student feel connected to the lecturer? In fact, the lecturer who is also coming and is preparing to set exam questions, what is going to be the outcome or the engagement they want to share with the student? So we need to know that we are doing a lot of disservice to our own students. So I am calling on NEC to understand that as much as we have an irresponsible and irresponsive government, strike is not the solution at this point because we have had our students, we have had them sit for a very long time, which is not good for the future of the student, for their parents, and for what they want to achieve in the future. The more they sit, the least enthusiasm we are going to get from them to come back to the school. Now, many of them are preparing for exams, and then I had a conversation with a couple of them, and they are not still feeling connected with the system already. These are the people who are also going to be the future teachers. These are people who are going to be future leaders. So if they don't have the interest and they just want to leave, what is going to be the outcome? We also need to understand that the interest we used to have to become a scholar, to become the face of education in Nigeria, we don't have such interest in many of these students anymore because they are frustrated. Many of them spend 2 years in year one. Many of them do not even go to the next level. No thanks to COVID that kept us out of the school for over almost a year. Why many countries did not really feel the impact of COVID in terms of education, Nigeria educational system was among the losers of COVID. So we have not been able to bring back the 1 year we missed. Then we had strikes that kept students out. Now we have in some universities we have three set of newly admitted students who are going to come in. So this is a huge challenge on our country, and we have to get serious. We are calling on the government, we are calling on household that we should please look for a way to do better things. Strike does not seem like the solution. Maybe we have to improve our lobbying. I know that ASU has been lobbying, but when you have a government like this, what might be the solution might be to lobby and lobby and lobby. Lobbying is one of the ways to engage government. We should never feel too shy to lobby because when you want to achieve, you have to lobby. Also, there is always going to be a price to pay for a new Nigeria. So, if the government becomes irresponsible, it might be that ASU might be the one to channel the new Nigeria we want by taking some sacrifice. But, my brother, how do you afford that lecturers are treated like this in Nigeria? But there is always a price to pay for success. It might be that our patience is the price we want to pay for a better Nigeria.
There's always a price to pay for success. All right,
Yes.
I close this segment. Let's talk about what is trending recently. I call it the Jackpot City, or people being jackpot in, as they said. I mean, jackpot actually means leaving the country, leaving the country looking for a green. With this and with the young scholars that Nigeria is producing, and you have many of them today traveling abroad for education and looking back home, seeing how things are. How do you define their interest of going back to the system?
You see, this is a very difficult question to answer because people have been coming out to condemn people trying to travel abroad for studies and for a better life. But we need to understand that the way it appears to you is different from the way it appeared to other people. Number one, let us start from the aspect of people wanting to leave Nigeria. The question is, why are they leaving Nigeria? Many of them are leaving because of the promises their parents told them that they are going to enjoy. As young as I am, I have lived for a few decades. I have been hearing my parents tell me it will get better, it will get better, it will get better, but I have not seen anything get better. Then I have seen my father work more just for us to be able to feed. So what people define as success differs from is dynamic. For you, success might be education attainment. For me, it could be just to have my family. For you, success could be to be in Nigeria. For me, it could just be to leave Nigeria. So we need to understand that we are different, and our differences is going to bring about the dynamics in our thinking process. Now, that is why I said no serious nation will treat the teachers the way they are treating their teachers like that. People are leaving Nigeria for better opportunities, for better life, for better security, for you to be able to achieve and attain the lofty heights you want to get to. These are some of the reasons people. I was talking to someone who was a nurse in Ibadan, and she said, as a nurse in Ibadan, she was earning 7,000 naira. Then she got to the UK. What she's earning could help her to feed her parents back home. Many of us, even though we are working, we still have to depend on friends and families for us to be able to feed, for us to pay our rent. We are having to experience inflation where we can see the profligacy and complacency of our government. We are being told to be patient, then we see how much our government are wasting money, not exploring our resources, and some people are just the beneficiary of the system. And every time when a student felt he's going to spend 3 years, he's already on his sixth year and does not even know what is going to be the outcome. So people living in Nigeria, there are two aspects to it. Not one is what they want to achieve and what the country has made them feel that they have to do. And I want to tell you something. Based on my experience in the United States, I feel that many Nigerians will still leave Nigeria. This is just like it is not a prophecy, it's just a feeling. And Horeb, why I'm saying this is because I try to compare the Nigerian educational system and that of the United States. There is a particular thing that is very much missing. And that thing is that how the United States education is teaching patriotism. Our educational system is not teaching Nigerian patriotism. When you get to an average US classroom, you see the US flag. When they are making examples, it's about the United States. When they are teaching them numeric and literacy, it's about language and words in the United States. When they are teaching them about the loyalty, it's about being loyal to their country. As a PhD student, when you are talking about literature review, when you are reading about peer review journals, what you are going to be reading as far as literature review is concerned is about the history and the system of the US. And it is just natural, it is a natural way of making you imbibe the love of the United States. Then that is why you see many Americans, no matter how much they hate what the government is doing, it is always about God bless America. It's the same in the United Kingdom. But for our own, we don't even have proper documentation of our own history. For our own, we don't even have a working educational system. For our own, we don't even have a close relationship with the frontiers of knowledge and educators. So what do you expect them to go back to class to go and do? Then coming to context, We need to understand that people who are going abroad, many of them genuinely love Nigeria. And if there is an opportunity today, everybody wants to come to Nigeria because that is where we feel happy. That is where we have our family. That is where some of us that we want to also give back. But at what price? Is it when there is still a ravaging insecurity? Is it when there is still no proper economical structure? Is it when there is no respect for law? Is it when there is no engagement from the government to the citizen? Is it when we kept on borrowing and we cannot justify why we are borrowing? Is it when there is no proper mentorship? Is it when you don't even feel as if this is a working system for you to be able to integrate yourself owing to the exposure you have in an advanced country? Is the government even looking forward to your return? So there is a lot of problems. How many Americans are coming to Nigeria to come and stay? How many people from the UK are coming to Nigeria? Many of them could come because we have the prospect for coming for bringing them to Nigeria. But the problem is we have not made our land a place where people should come and explore. And the more these people understand that this is the problem we have, the more they look forward to enticing things to bring us. What are we looking for? We are looking for basic social amenities. This is something this country has. And having Nigeria who wake up in the morning does not have power in his house and has to think about getting gas or fuel to pump his generator to attend meeting, then got an opportunity to come to a place where the power is better. What do you think? Somebody who has been working and his old salary does not even know how to eat could work somewhere and after working get what is due to him immediately. What do you think? However, we also need to understand one thing, that no matter how good all this country is, Nigeria is where we originally come from, and we hold the success of Nigeria to ourselves. If all of us has to leave, if all of us has to stay somewhere else, nobody will help us to better Nigeria. For me as a person, I believe in Nigeria and I look forward to coming back to give my best to my country.
Okay, I think the hope of every Nigerian in the diaspora, trying to back home and then contribute in one way or the other. I think, and what they are just asking for, having a better system, having an environment that can allow them to do that. But maybe I will ask this question at the end of it should be the last one in the last segment. So, dear viewers, thank you so much for being with us. You've been with Razak, a PhD student from Auckland University. He is also an associate at the University of Lagos. We've been talking about the future of the Nigerian educational system. I mean, we've raised a lot of questions. If you want to pass the show, just go ahead and call us via WhatsApp on the number on the screen +1 31462 If you also like, you can live on YouTube, AfroWeb TV, Facebook TV. You can also go to www.afrowebtv.com to take part of this show. We will go short break and then we'll be back soon. And then thank you all for staying with us. Welcome. Let's talk with Horeb and Tony on AfroWeb TV. We have been actually talking about the prospects and the future of the Nigerian educational system. And with us has been Abdurazak Afiz. He has actually told us a lot of things. We've shared a lot of ideas with him. And now we want to talk about him as a person because in all these questions, people have to provide solutions. Most time we don't need to depend on government. We need individuals to take some steps. And I know as a person in a lot of steps, and we just want to look at some of them. You are the director of the Next Generation class, which is the learning hub that seeks to avail teachers and learners of adequate childhood knowledge and require pedagogical skills devised to reposition education of digital experimental learning. Please, can you tell us a little bit more about this? I know this paragraph I give out there for us to know who you are and what actually prompted you to go into this.
Okay, so thank you so much, Horeb. Like I told you, I am someone who is convinced about the future of Nigeria. And like I would say, everywhere I go to, I am a full Nigerian, a beneficiary of everything that Nigeria could have given people, particularly education. As a young lecturer at the University of Lagos, I realized that there is a lot of things that the curriculum did not cover. And if we want to have a typically developing educator, we need to give them both in-class experience and outside the classroom experience. Based on personal effort, I read so much about some things that is peculiar to my course, and every time I bring about a conversation with the student, these are things they don't know. And these are things they need to know to compete with people who are doing the same course outside the country. Then I felt I am so young to be listened to. One of the unfortunate things about Nigeria educational system is that people who have to mentor us are people who think we should not even speak. Yeah, some of the people that are meant to mentor us, they will tell you that what do you know, just keep quiet, even though that the prosperity of every nation depends on their youth. However, I think I have an exception among all of these people, and that is some of our professors, the likes of Professor Musa, Professor Igwe, Dr. Lumide Ige. They are people that will tell you, please speak because you are the future we want. So then I felt that, okay, if we have to continue like this, these people will be half-baked and they would not be at the point I want them to be or what the university want them to achieve. Then I felt, okay, one of the things I could do is just to create a classroom outside the classroom where we can talk about things that are peculiar to children. Of course, my training over the last 10 years has been on early childhood education about children, and I also feel that the group who are most vulnerable in every situation are the kids. We are talking about a better Nigeria for who? For the kids. If Nigeria is not good at this point, who are going to be the one who are going to suffer the most? The kids. There is war in some land, there is insecurity. Once parents and guidance are killed, who are going to be the victim? The children will become homeless. And if we have to also build an egalitarian society, it has to be with the psychology of the children, building them from early stage. So that was why I felt, okay, it goes beyond the classroom. It goes beyond the people I have encounter with. Let me create an avenue for me to reach out to people. And that was what gave birth to the Next Generation class. And I was able to bring together some people who also have the vision of seeing a better Nigeria by engaging children. Then we came together across Nigeria to have a platform where on monthly basis we talk to people about topical issues that affect the children and how as parents, as teachers, as caregivers, as cousins, as uncles, as people who have close relationship with children need to understand how to relate with children. Because all of these experiences are going to account for what the child is going to turn out to be. Now, again, I am also the CEO of the Child Expert Clinic. The Child Expert Clinic is just an initiative where I make short videos to talk to people about children. Because for the next generation, it's about teachers, it's about parents, and having to talk about topical issues. Also, so then I felt that okay, we are in a time where people don't have the interest of reading so much anymore. People are quite overtaken by the sensation on social media and other things. Okay, so if we are talking about the next generation or the next world, we need to be able to deploy what people want to hear or what people want to look or where people are always spending their time. And that was what gave birth to the Child Expert Clinic. The essence for that is for people to say, okay, the clinic is not a place you get the required or the holistic intervention, but it is a place where you can start, right? So it is a place where you can have preliminary solution. So it is just a place where people can come, ask questions, and listen and talk about what they need to learn about their children, then for better knowledge. So what I do at present is to just upload a 1 minute video about issues that affect children, how the home and the school connect to themselves. So this is one of the few ways I am doing I'm trying my best to create a better Nigeria and to create a better world, because if the world has to become a better place, then the very first point of contact is the children. Because children between the ages of 3 and 5, they have remarkable brain development, and their brain is developing more than that of an adult at that particular age. So whatever experience, whatever early experience they have is going to determine the human they are going to become. And that is why I envy the educational system of the United States. Because even at this stage in preschool classroom that I have been to volunteer, there is a way they inculcate the love of the nation to their hearts. They inculcate the love of the nation. So these children are going to grow up defending America. So we can take lessons from this, catch them young, then create a better world. So that is just about the highlight of what I do as far as the next
Okay, but
generation.
then we know these things are not so easy. What are the challenges that you know on this journey?
Oh, my brother, it has been very challenging because people that you even want to help might not even encourage you. You are doing a presentation, you invite people, they are not coming to listen. Even on WhatsApp group that you create for people to read and give you feedback, only a few are participating. People just have that little interest in reading. This is one of the problem we have in this generation. We are just after a lot of social media stuffs, not about that particular knowledge. Also, some people also think they know more than than you that you're talking to them, even though it is not their area of expertise. However, as a teacher, as a trained teacher, as educator, you know that you are not going to have a free landing or a soft landing. The challenges are what is going to help you. And then the interesting thing is you also have people who always look forward to your presentation. So one of the things I've used to encourage myself is that it is not about the 1,000 people. It's not about 2,000 people. It's not about 500 people. It starts with one person. If that one person is convinced about what we want to do, then with that person we can change the world. So because we also need to understand that we don't have to despair. You don't have to despair, because at a point what you have set out as plan might not even be what you want to get. What you are seeing might not be what you are spending money, you are trying to talk to people, a lot of things are just coming as setback. The moment you despair, the solution you want to create is going to become a fantasy. So we just have to understand that in building something remarkable, there is a phase and there is a price to pay, like I said. So it might be that you are going to pay the price with your patience, with conviction, with understanding how to engage better with people, and also learning. So that is why I said, from next generation is something more comprehensive. It is a place you can come and learn about a topic, learning disabilities, developmental challenges, among other things. But with the Child Expert Clinic, it's just very short. People are always on YouTube, they are always on their phones. So, and if it is just like 1 minute, I feel they should be able to get into it. So we are getting some people to encourage us, but we are not in the place we want to be. However, because we know it is educational, not many people will be interested. But we just continue to improve, and we will not despair.
Oh, thank you. The next project.
Say that again.
What are your next projects you are looking forward to do?
Oh, so there are a lot of projects, but the chief of all is I have a vision to be able to work with United Nations. It's a very big vision I have in supporting the underprivileged children. It is a goal I really wish I could achieve in my life, because I understand that it is the largest global engagement when it comes to helping children across the world. I am very intentional about helping children, because I do understand that the world we all want to create, we are not going to create it eventually for ourselves. We are going to create it for the unborn children. And it is what we are able to inculcate in them that is going to determine what they are going to project in the world. So I'm also studying, trying to become an authority in the field of early childhood. So it's also a project. Engage in a lot of research, form relationship with experts in the field, talk to parents, listen to their problems, document it as research outcomes for people to read and for people to learn from, and continue to improve, continue to improve. So, and also to the what we are doing to pay so much attention on how to improve it, how to get wider audience, and how to shape the life of people for them to know that, okay, even though the government might not be responsive, there are a lot of things they could explore for knowledge. So one of the mantra I use is that I want to use knowledge to see the emancipation of ignorance. So I want to use knowledge to overcome as a tool for the emancipation of ignorance. So and in doing that, I'll put myself at the center while I'm also learning and create a learning platform for people to learn. But it's all about teachers, it's all about children, it's all about parents, it's all about the society. Because these are things that these are parameters that come together to shape our knowledge. So if the parent does not have requisite education in engaging the child, it's a problem. If the teacher does not have the required skill to engage the child, it's a problem. If people in the society do not understand the place of the child in society, it's a problem. But solution could be derived from just knowledge, from getting people to be knowledgeable about how to help the children. And when we are able to help the children, we are fine as a nation.
Okay, when we raise children, we raise a better future. When we raise them a better future. I remember there's a Nigerian singer. I can't remember the name, but the song was in Yoruba. I think they start somewhere like Enyo Moema Sherekiri, Erekiri Londo Yukoyu, Odamokomo, Okomo. So it's just like the way you raise a child, that's how we raise a nation. So, I mean, you are doing a very good job, and we pray that God, and then helps you, and then the people around. So, Afiz, we can't go without talking about this. 2023 is in the corner. Now, we've been talking about education, the bad things and that, and most time we discover that it is from choosing the people, are the affairs of the country or any whatever we call it. What are you saying to people out there, looking at 2023 election?
So 2023 election is an opportunity for us to reshape the future of Nigeria. It is a time we have to make a very drastic effort in saving our nation. It is a time where we have to make people understand that beyond the shenanigan of corruption and trying to come and put little things to our mouth, just thinking that they could exploit us, we need to put an end to that. 2023 should be about creating a structure. We need a structure for Nigeria. We need a system. We need a working system. It is very insulting what we hear in the news as Nigerians who study abroad. It brings about some level of discomfort and unhappiness when you see some headlines that are very, very, very insulting to all of Nigerians. I don't want to name some things. So I'm talking to the youth. The population of the youth in Nigeria is so enticing, is encouraging, and is intimidating. If we, as a group of people, can come together to make a choice of someone whom we are convinced is a pro Nigerian, our health system, where is it today? Infrastructure, where is it today? International relation and respect, where is it today? Education, where is it today? Economy, where is it today? Agriculture, where is it today? In fact, exploring our natural resources, what have we done so far? Yet we kept on borrowing. So we need to understand that if we don't come to save our countries, the rot that is happening in the system now, we are going to be the one to bear the consequences. Because whether we like it or not, our children are going to be Nigerians. Because we are Nigerians. And even though they are born outside another country, they are still Nigerians. So for us, we need to be very Nigerian in our mentality. We need to be very Nigerian in our disposition. And we need to be very Nigerian in what we do to help our country. So I'm talking to people out there to understand that it is not a time you play politics whereby somebody wants to come to subjugate you. It is not a time you sell your conscience. It's a time you go for conviction to save our country. Our country is on the blink. Our country has a lot of potential that we are not exploring, but we have a choice to help our country on who is going to be the next leader and what is going to be its effect on other nation. Because the children will be a beneficiary if it is good, and they are also going to bear the consequences if it is bad. So I'm making an appeal to all Nigerians that we are very intentional about the choice we are going to make. It should be about innovation. It should be about improved security. And it should be about social amenities. Many of the things we pray to God for in Nigeria are things you get on a normal circumstance abroad. You are going home from your office, you are praying, I want to meet light at home. Where abroad, in even African countries like Egypt, places that do not even have the prospect or the strength of Nigeria in terms of population. Ghana, they have uninterrupted power supply. So imagine the level of unemployment we are going to help against if we have power supply. Many people could not even do their business successfully because of insecurity. They could not even travel conveniently. So we need to be very intentional about the fact that we want to create a solution. And I'm hoping that as Nigerians, we are going to make the right decision.
We hope that we make the right decision come 2023. Hafiz Abdul Razak, as we call you, I think I need to remind people that we are both great guys, from the university. Okay, thank you so much for accepting to come on this show. Thank you for sharing your view. We really appreciate this. TV, the entire team, is saying thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Next time when we call you, you'll be able to come.
No problem. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate, and I thank you for the good work you're doing. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you too.
So do
Okay,
have a
viewers,
good
thank
night.
you so much for being with us so much. And today, another topic on this same show, going to be looking at something different. And participate in this show if you have contribution. All right, go ahead. Number on this, you can actually call us. You can say, for proposals or whatever it is. And I need to remind you again, AfroWeb TV, it's a TV station where we have French and English, the blacks from basically, in the diaspora and also those at home. So we need your support in every, on this, so that this journey we can keep it and do what we can do. So thank you so much. I'm back to the studio with Monsieur Roger Achu. Thank you so much for the production. We appreciate that. And then also Moise Agui. Thank you. We see you again next week. As usual, it's going to be a discussion. Bye.